I want to get Derek's opinion on you in a second, but I actually find it pretty refreshing because I think, especially a lot of the people I've been working with recently, they're wanting to split things up throughout the day, which I honestly prefer. Like I would
Yes.
rather take someone out of an office and they're like, I'm going to go work out for 1 hour in the morning and I'm going to spend, X amount of time or an hour and a half in the morning and I'm going to spend, 20 minutes stretching and then 40 minutes weight training and then another 20 minutes doing cardio and then I'm going to go sit at my desk for 10 hours. And
Sure.
they're like, well, what stretches can you give me? And I'm like, just you got to stand up and move around, or I would prefer them to break it up throughout the day. I just think like those little infrequent breaks, which is kind of what you're saying. I know you do it on a very extreme level
Sure.
because you're always working with people. So you're probably, working 10 minutes on a specific movement. I'm making this up right now. Maybe you're prying your hips open for 10 minutes with this client, and then maybe you're working on
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
shoulders. Like you follow. So you're doing that throughout the day, which I think is without a doubt the best way to do things.
Mhm.
But most people don't get that luxury of being able to do it. But a lot of them are starting to ask me now, can they break it up into sections throughout the day? And why not?
Especially now when people are stuck at home a lot, right? But
100%.
it's all load management. That's our job, right? It's managing load. So I'm a manual therapist as well. So when I'm a manual therapist, I'm managing loads because I'm applying external loads to try to prime the internal environment to change, right? And then when you're a trainer, you're providing internal loads to overcome, barriers. When you're a martial artist, I'm applying external load to overcome someone's joint capacities to injure them. But all of these jobs are about load management. And the fact of the matter is that the human body wasn't designed to accept all of its loading parameters in a 45-minute espresso exercise class. And like, how do you know, Dre? The question is like, how do you know? And the only answer I can give you is to look at the evolutionary biological record. And at some point, you can define a Homo sapien as a Homo sapien. And that's approximately 100 to 200,000 years in the making since we've had our current kind of form, right? So when you think, what should someone be doing? In my opinion, and it's not only my opinion, many a smarter man than me has kind of talked about this, you have to try to match the environment as best as one can to the environment where the genome was being forged. And if you look back to where the genome was forged, if you look back to like 98% of our ancestral history, it's hunter-gatherer populations. And one thing that you note about hunter-gatherer is that they expended way more calories than we did. They did way more work. Having said that, they did a lot of resting as well. I would say that if you look at hunter-gatherer populations, they really followed a high-low method, which is crazy because you hear about that in training right now. They would have intense days followed by rest days. I think the point I was getting at was with regards to load. Now, in our society, you put all of the load onto the field during your game, and then you go into the gym the next day. You put all of the load into and then you wonder why it snaps. But that's not what was done, right? A hunter-gatherer never got up in the morning, stretched out, and said, it's a fucking nice day. I'm going to go for a jog for my cardiovascular endurance, and I'm going to go for 45 minutes in a zone 2. Like, nobody fucking said that. Just like they
Right.
never said, I'm going to, after you killed an animal with a projectile object, never in the hunter-gatherer lifestyle were you told to go back and grab the object, run back 60 feet onto a pitcher's mound, and then start to throw it with different
Mm.
curveballs and fastballs 700 times. And the point being here is when people do that and their fucking elbow explodes, and everyone's like, I don't understand what happened. What do you don't understand what happened? You're taking 24 hours of loading and you're forcing it into your schedule as if your schedule makes a fucking difference.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I like the 24-hour rule. It's like, especially with rehab,
Mm.
with, you're giving people, repetition is the key to learning. And that's the same with tissue adaptation. If you're not giving the signal frequently, then the signal's probably not going to be taken. Having said that, you can't do high intensity stuff all day, but there's shit ton of work to do. You know what I'm saying?